Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. Hell no, the whole United States. Ooh, I'm so damn tired of these strange fruit. Yeah, I'm so damn tired of losing our babies. Mississippi tears in my eyes, I'm fed up, I wanna get back. The Most High said, my child, you can't fight fire with fire. This a beast, you pour water on the fire. Take the whole system down. Yeah, listen up, my people, we need to boycott. Take our money back, they wanna keep picking on us. Let's all hit them in the pocket. Shut them down, shut them down. Oh, we gotta take our power back. They want blood, oh, we gon' keep our money. Who want to smoke first? Wally World or the Flex? I said I'm tired of BS, tired of the mess. They don't wanna respect us, yeah. Okay, let's take that mighty black dollar away. Oh, goddamn, goddamn. Mississippi, Alabama, Florida. Hell no, the whole United States. Ooh, I'm so damn tired of these strange fruit. Yeah, I'm so damn tired of losing our babies. Mississippi tears in my eyes, I'm fed up, I wanna get back. The Most High said, my child, you can't fight fire with fire. This a beast, you pour water on the fire. Take the whole system down. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Right damn now.
It's the one and only queen of receipts, the dropping gems in this YouTube street. The lawyer Royce, nowhere to go. Tune in for the infamous morning show, giving the news that you need to know. So don't you dare miss a wake-up call. Then in the evening, I got all for y'all. Get your dose of daily vitamins. You know the queen makes it make sense. So true.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur, and this is your Sunday vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, so let's get ready to get back into it. I told y'all I was coming back. I had a few errands to run and some things to do around the house, but I told y'all I wouldn't let y'all down. Okay, and so with that all being said, and without further ado, let's get ready to get into it, honey. I tell you all, it is all nefarious, okay? And it's getting even more so by the day. Please pay attention. All right? Please pay attention, honey. I don't make the news, I just report on it. Okay, so before we get started, let's see who is in here. Reggie says, shout out to the replay gang. That's right. I be forgetting to shout out my marvelous replay gang. All right. Shout out to them. Youngest Charter 504 Nolan. Let's get into it. KQB is here. All right. Desmond, of course, Gregory, okay, Angel, the Messenger, the infamous Marty Marr is here, Alt DB6, okay, let's get it popping, Betty Boo, Nessa G from the land, Gino Zach, Queen Mona Huey, all right, here we go, that Crazy Beach Aries said, bye, haters, okay, Luna Walker is here, all right, let's get it popping, likes up, I see you, Greta Lee, Lawyer is here, okay, I'm technology. Okay, let's get it popping. Okay. With that all being said, hey, Quiet Storm. Okay, so with that all being said, Wally the Truth TV is here. Or I'm sorry, Wally the Truth. Okay, Leon. All right, so before we get started, as per usual, you all know the spiel. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Okay. Deborah is here. Charlene is in the virtual building. All right, Anthony, I see you. 504 Nola, slow burn. All right, we're about to get it popping, guys. We're about to get it popping. Mrs. Allo, I'm not sure how to say that, beloved. Okay, A and 74. Okay, here we go. Likes up, please double check and make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you have not been receiving the notifications. Okay, like, share, and all of that. Make sure you like the video. It's very important, and it doesn't cost you a single thing.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Right. So don't forget, you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Craft. She has amazing products. And also, you can find her products at Walmart.com. And she sells beard oil as well. Okay. And she does have sales frequently. All right. So let's get into it. Okay, and shout out to the new members. I see Cynthia's a new member. Shout out to those of you who have purchased memberships. Ama Yashua is here. All right, I love that name. Lieutenant Muxwa has entered the chat. Lola is here. All right, Pia Stewart. Pia Stewart. Okay, I was trying to say this one word. Okay, now with that all being said, let's get into it because it's all about to go down. It is all about to go down. Hey, these people are doing the most. They absolutely are. Hey, Mark McCain. Okay, so first, let me put my disclaimer up here upon the screen. Views, opinions, allegations, and accusations expressed by guests, third parties, or commenters on their own and do not necessarily, or commenters are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the original Queen BOMBSHELL show or the Queen BOMBSHELL show. You all know the backup channel. I'll be going back live on there again soon. Pay attention. Okay, content is presented for commentary, discussion, reporting, and educational purposes. Discussion of an allegation does not mean the allegation is true or endorsed by this channel. All persons are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. All right, please pay attention. The Queen's not trying to get sued. Y'all can miss me with it. Y'all can miss me with it. The Queen is not trying to get sued. because I don't want to have to beg you all for GoFundMe donations, honey. Please pay attention. Okay. Mrs. Poochie, thank you for becoming a YouTube member, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. All right, that's right. Greta Lee says thank you. Thank you all newcomers for subscribing or joining the Queen's channel. Now, let's get into it. First off, I have some juicy information. We're going to get to that in a second, but before we do, honey, there's rumors of arrest coming and all of that. And this man has taken it upon himself to come out and threaten Black folk. Now, what he said was a thinly veiled threat, in my opinion, and you all can judge for yourselves, okay? And in fact, everything that I say, you all judge for yourselves and come to your own conclusions, as I always tell you, and don't just take my word for it. I've told you all since 2020 to do your own research if need be. So with that all being said, let's talk for a moment about Trump's former attorney. Now, you all know that I be investigating these attorneys. That's what I do best. I look into these people, see what they're up to, what they've been doing. That's how I found out that J. Tyler Cox, the Mississippi attorney who reached out to Trump's former attorney, is in fact a criminal defense attorney. Now, when I told you all that, I said, somebody must be thinking they're going to get arrested, okay? Someone must be thinking that it's about to go down. Because why are they hiring a defense attorney again? And why did TMZ, choose to leave that little tidbit of information out when they reported on it? They made the bigger focus about Trump's former attorney, Edward Andrew Pulsick, who is a defamation attorney. And he's one of those people. Let me just tell you all what his scheme is. Let me tell you what the gist of his whole thing is, his tactics. Now, those of you who were following me prior to us getting involved in the Nolan Wells case, you remember that all I talked about for about 3, 4, maybe even 5 months was Trump. Okay, and the maggots. And you all know that I was talking about the war and all of that, and everything related and pertaining to politics. So I happen to know about Trump in these defamation lawsuits. Now, you all may remember, put a 1 in the chat if you do, that I told you that when Trump was going to sue CBS, / Paramount, that really I didn't think he had a leg to stand on. Okay, I didn't think he had a leg to stand on. All right, but they went ahead and settled with him. And I said, now, why aren't they settling with this man? They could easily have demolished him in court. Okay, so you all remember, right? Well, this attorney, Edward Andrew Pulsick, is the one who was representing him. So now, once I remember that, I thought about his tactics. Okay, what he does is strong arm people. What he does is come out and make these threats of litigation, and makes these threats of suing you for defamation, libel, and slander to get you to walk back what you have previously said, to get you to stop talking if you're saying anything. That's how he gets down. Okay, so let's talk about it. First of all, let's get into his educational background. Edward Andrew Pulsick has built his career around high-stakes constitutional law, elite education, and aggressive media representation. Now, he operates as the counselor at Taylor Dykema PLLC and works as an adjunct law professor. Isn't that something? So me and him have something in common, because I worked as an adjunct law professor too. Well, actually not law, criminal justice, which you learn about the law. Yep. So anyway, that's what I was doing up until maybe about a year ago. Now, that being said, they talk about his undergraduate degrees. Okay, now his credentials come from top-tier institutions, developing an analytical approach that later translated into his complex litigation style. His undergraduate degree, he graduated with distinction in all subjects with a Bachelor of Arts in History from Cornell University in 2003. Well, me, I graduated with high degrees on the President's List. Okay, I'm a member of the National Honor Society and all of that. Now, maybe I didn't go to such an elite college as him, but nonetheless, I am pretty smart, that's all I'm saying. Now, that being said, high profile clients and cases. Now, while Donald Trump is his most famous client, Pulsick has frequently defended conservative figures, advocacy groups, and individuals targeted by intense public scrutiny. He acts as outside counsel for the organization, establishing himself as a prominent litigator in Second Amendment gun rights cases. His written amicus briefs have been cited in landmark U.S. Supreme Court cases, okay, including by Justice Samuel Alito in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association. Now, let's go down a little bit more. Now, let's talk about this. This is what he does. See, this is the meat and potatoes of who he is and what he does. So the best defense is a good offense. That's his approach. Rather than issuing passive public relations statements, you see, his strategy involves filing massive multi-million-dollar lawsuits to immediately penalize the opposition. Okay, he shuts them down. Also, he targets anything that may be actual malice. See, in U.S. law, public figures must prove a media outlet knew information was false or acted with a reckless disregard for the truth. Now, Paulson structures his lawsuits around internal network decisions, such as deliberate video editing choices to hit this high legal threshold. Now, also, there's a chilling effect on the public narrative. So by deploying immediate threats of litigation, his strategy forces media conglomerates and online commentators to self-censor or carefully walk back unverified claims to avoid catastrophic financial liabilities. Okay, so that's what he pretty much does. All right, and so now here he is on this case. Now, mind you, as I told you all months ago, he's the one that got CBS to go ahead and settle with Trump for $16 million. He's the one who negotiated that deal. It was a deal, it was a suit with CBS and Paramount Global. Okay, it stemmed from the controversial editing of the CBS video, okay, that was on 60 Minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It featured Kamala Harris, okay? And so Trump's team argued that editing the video caused him mental anguish. That's why I said Trump could not have beat them had they gone to court. Okay, and he also said that he gave some type of BS excuse talking about it led to voter confusion. Okay, and so anyway, that's who he is. That's who he is. So like I told you all, I don't think they're going to sue anyone. I really don't think so, because as I told you, when you start filing these lawsuits, whether it's for defamation, libel, and slander, or whatever your civil litigation reason is, you know, you have to come with the facts. You got to come with something called discovery. And if you actually did anything, and I'm not saying anyone did, but someone who actually did something nefarious or did something they don't want brought out to the attention of everyone, they probably wouldn't be so quick to file those type of lawsuits because they know there's a period of discovery. Now, I'm not saying they won't file lawsuits, but I'm just saying I don't think that would be I don't think they would actually do that. I think this is all scare tactics to shut everybody up. Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's talk about it. So there's someone saying that there's rumors of arrests coming. Now, I don't know this young lady, and I cannot substantiate her claims. But what I will say is, at the end of the day, there is a man who took it upon himself to make nefarious threats. That's what he did. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, let's get into this, because there's a young lady who says that Nolan was not on the Triton, and she gives some very good details. And I don't know if they're true or not, but we're going to listen. Likes up, everyone, please. A like and share. Thank you in advance.
Wanted to be on because the boys' boat that rhymes with the name Smart is where everything went down. In this video alone, we see them all board you know whose boat. They never get on the Triton because the Triton is a $50,000 boat that the parents took. The kids were on the motherfucking kiddie boat. Remember how they all boarded up and left? On the little baby kiddie boat, the Triton didn't move when they were on it. No one ever has a video or picture of them boarding the Triton. Like, that's why they keep saying Nolan was never on the Triton, because they never used the Triton for the 18-year-old antics. They were all on the other boat. Oh, and in these videos where we see everything going down, from the argument, the boys playing and jumping the fuck around, there are at least 4 boats that are in every motherfucking scene, and there are 2 adults on every fucking boat, i.e. this one, the Sea Hunt. They are seen on this boat that says Garmin at the top. They are seen partying on the mysterious dead Katie's boat, whatever. They are also seen on this boat called the Palm Beach. This video came from a user on Facebook that recorded everything, and I'm telling you, this area that they were all in, all of these boats, as you can see, the Sea Hut, the Palm Beach, and the big Garmin boat they were on were all secluded and tied off with something like fishing wire because this was their specific area for the day. This also included this boat, which was a blue boat that just so happens to have someone called Dr. Detail on it. I'll get to that later. I am telling you, the kids were not allowed on the grown folks boat, and there are so many different videos with grown folks in them. These are not your normal grown folks, and they strategically, all of them, have no posts from the 4th. And we know now, because of Officer Tatum, someone was actively going around that was an adult selling blow. The fact that you guys don't understand the cover-up is coming from the adults that were present, and all of these adults are related and interconnected. I mean, fuck. Treatens knows exactly who's in the Dr. Detail shirt. A lot of people that were there that day are family within the community. And what happened on the boat did not take place on the motherfucking Triton. That's why everyone is now saying, oh my God, I was on the Triton. Nolan was never on the Triton. You're right, because Nolan was on you know whose boat when it happened to him, when his leg was hanging over the side.
So
now let me say this. Okay, that was a very good details and all of that, especially if true. But so she didn't say who Dr. Detail was, so I took the liberty of looking it up. Okay, I took the liberty of looking it up. Now, mind you, Dr. Detail is a business down there in Ocean Springs where they do detailing of boats, cars, and things like that. And so here it is on Facebook. And it looks like they mostly detail boats. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. We'll get back to that in a second. But let me just pull this up on here. So someone, whether it's the owner or an employee of Dr. Detail, is who it looks like was on that boat. Now, I can't substantiate it, but they were wearing a shirt that had the company logo and name on it. Okay, here we go. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. As you can see, there it is right there. Dr. Detail LLC, located Ocean Springs, Mississippi, Ocean Springs Road, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And there it is. So, you know, like I said, and I did look into the company and it just shows online. I'll go to that as well. So the fact that she said the parents didn't allow them on the boat, now we're seemingly finding out from all these people coming out and speaking about saying they were there or whatever, that there seem to have been lots of parents or adults there. So that makes it more likely for me to not believe that Nolan was out there doing anything nefarious, such as getting drunk to the point that he could barely walk or move, and also doing Coca-Cola like Officer Tatum would have us to believe. And we're going to talk about him too, because he has a whole lot of nerve. You know, he's come out and apologized, and I'm sorry, but for what? Okay, it's too little and too late for that as far as I'm concerned. The things that he said were absolutely nefarious, so there's no need to try to take it back. He meant every word of it. He meant every word of what he said. Now, here it is right here. I'm going to go ahead and close out that tab. Okay, so it says Dr. Detail LLC provides automotive and marine detailing services across the Mississippi Gulf Coast, including Ocean Springs and Gaudier. Now, you can contact them, and it has their phone number, it has their Facebook page and all of that. They do marine detailing, wash and wax, but they also can fix the boats if they have any issues. Okay, like if there was a crash, like with the Alex Murdaugh situation where his son Paul crashed that boat. And let's talk about that again for a second. Now, for those of you who missed that broadcast, I told you all how it was very interesting that with the Murdaugh case, and if you missed that documentary, it's on Netflix. But nonetheless, Alex Murdaugh was a very wealthy man whose son Alex used his brother's ID. I think previously I accidentally said he used his father's ID, but it's actually he used his older brother's ID to purchase alcohol. And then he got drunk and took it upon himself to be manning a vessel, okay, on water, i.e. a boat. He had people on there that were underage or whatever. A woman by the name of Mallory Beach was thrown from the boat when he hit a bridge, the lower part of a bridge. It was a catastrophic collision, and other people fell from the boat as well. Some were seriously injured. Now, there was going to be a myriad of wrongful death lawsuits, okay? And, you know, people have been saying, and I said it myself, that Nolan's mother will likely file a wrongful death lawsuit. I really feel like that's the reason that she opened up got that petition to open up Nolan's estate. But nonetheless, also, he offered a reward after he killed his wife and son. Now, the reason he killed his wife and son is because he wanted public sympathy. He wanted to make himself the victim. But also, even more than that, he wanted to get rid of the case against his son because he knew that he would be the one responsible to pay for the wrongful death lawsuits because that was his boat that his son was driving. Okay, so this is why he engaged in a huge, massive cover-up. But none of that helped him in the end. You see, he offered the $100,000 also to act as though he's trying to get justice for his wife and son, even though he was the culprit the whole time. We also remember in this case, Warren's father offered money for a reward also. But with that being said, he ended up, they ended up dropping the criminal case because, of course, his son passed away. But this bull shark lawyer that Mallory Beach's family had sued him anyway for those wrongful death lawsuits for about $10 to $16 million, somewhere around that ballpark. Okay, so I just want you all to understand that a lot of times rich people, such as Alex Murdaugh, they don't want to lose their money. They don't want to face financial ruin. And rather than doing so, they would be willing to take the lives of other people, even his own wife and son. And look what it cost him, because he still had to pay the money. Okay, he still had to pay the money. So that was just crazy. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say, whether you need a car or a boat detail, these are the things they have. They do what specific services. Oh, well, that's just talking about the services and whatnot. But there was something that I read, okay, about the full gel coat restoration, heavy oxidation removal, polishing, and polymer sealant protection. Okay, and so, like I said, they also fix boats that may have some sort of damages done to them, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I just thought that was very interesting, but let's continue.
So Nolan died on that motherfucking boat. Where are the arrests? Where the fuck is the investigation? Where are the interrogations, etc., etc., etc.? Because we done got about 4 or 5 different stories now, and don't none of them connect, don't none of them make sense. They all conflicting, yada yada yada. That audio leads us all to believe that Nolan died on that boat. That boat that he supposedly told them fuck ass friends that he was not coming back on because he was staying with this new group that he met on Horn Island. Come to find out, according to the audio, after you boost it, you do your audio engineering to it, you can clearly hear them say, "Is he dead?" You can clearly hear them say, "Damn it, Bart." You can clearly hear him say, "Get up, get the fuck up," addressing Nolan's limp body. Nolan died on that fucking boat. To the state of Mississippi specifically, as a man who spent the first 18 years of his life on this earth within the borders of Mississippi, let me tell y'all specifically, y'all not covering this shit up. We know how y'all operate. Y'all try to lengthen the investigation, the story, whatever it may be. Y'all try to draw it out in hopes that the attention to it falls away, minimizes it, giving you all the more ability to sweep it under the rug and go on about your fucking life. It's not happening this time, gang. It's not. Y'all done gotten away with so much bullshit, gang. Y'all have dodged news coverage over and over and over and over and over again. Let me tell you something. Millions of American citizens are staring at y'all right now, letting y'all know y'all ain't covering this one up. Y'all ain't getting away with this one. It's so many rural areas of Mississippi that get away with so much shit because Mississippi stays out of the news. Mississippi don't get a lot of national attention. And that's not something that they're not aware of. Hell, they love that shit. They love that shit. I can't say too much about Alabama. I can't say too much about Tennessee. I can't say too much about Arkansas. I can't say too much about Georgia. I know Mississippi. I know Mississippi. Y'all not getting away with this one, gang. It pisses me off because of the sheer fact that if this was a white boy who had lost his life in the same manner, with the same series of events, with the same confusion and conflicting stories around this entire fucking case, goddamn, the FBI, the CIA, and for some reason Interpol would have been investigating this whole goddamn shit. But simply because in the eyes of Mississippi, it's just another black boy that lost his life. Oh, people drown. Now they're trying to sweep it under the rug, etc., etc., etc. Fuck that. Fuck that. I'm telling y'all right now. I'm telling y'all right now. Days. People drown. Shut yourself. He didn't do anything wrong. Those black boys just drown. They waiting until the waiting until the news minimizes. They're waiting until the coverage minimizes. They're just trying to wait it out, hoping that the public's attention goes to the next thing. We gonna get justice for Nolan Wells. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe that.
Here's where the Nolan Wells investigation stands 1 month later. A lot has happened. 3 people have been arrested. There have been 2 autopsies. Lawyers have subpoenaed records from Snapchat and Life 360. The FBI is investigating death threats. Ben Crump has assembled his own legal team. Nancy Grace is covering the case. Colin Kaepernick paid for an independent autopsy. Tyler Perry paid for the funeral. But here's what hasn't happened. No one has explained how the black teenager died. That's the story. Federal arrests, they're not for Nolan's death. They're for threats allegedly made against judges, witnesses, and others connected to the investigation. The independent autopsy, it couldn't determine whether Nolan drowned or whether something else happened. And the official Mississippi autopsy, authorities have it, but they're waiting to present it to a grand jury before releasing the findings. Meanwhile, social media has filled a vacuum with theories, especially over an enhanced audio recording from the day Nolan disappeared. But audio experts caution that the viral clips are not the same thing as forensic evidence. For Nolan's family, the goal has not changed. They're not asking investigators to prove a particular theory. They're asking for something much simpler: honesty, transparency, and an answer to the question that has remained unanswered since July 6th. What happened to Nolan Wells? I'm Joe Williams with Word in Black. Follow me for more content and follow us for reporting that sticks to the evidence, not the rumors.
The other ones. Somebody just came in my comments and said that their uncle's house that's on the Leverage Lane area has a camera on his dock. Just saying, look. Maybe, just maybe, the Jackson County Police will find this girl. I'm gonna send this to Crump and his team, you know. Maybe they'll go check this camera out. And maybe the other ones that I found over the last few days. Anyway, I'm still waiting on somebody to offer me a ride to Horn Island. I got $400 for ya. Okay, let me know. I need to see your voting credentials first though, and I'm gonna need a copy of your license so I know where to send people for if I don't come home. Okay, bye.
She needs to know where to send people in case she doesn't come home. Well, you can send it, but if you don't come home, you're still going to be gone, beloved. Now, so she said there were more cameras, but here's a video of even more cameras in the area. So let's go to that. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. And then I want you all to see this video of this guy who was saying that he feels like it was an accident, which is one of the theories that I had. though unsubstantiated. I don't have any, proof of anything. Please pay attention.
Look at that, you guys. Look at, what is that? Oh, that's a camera. And look how close it is to the Biloxi Yacht Club, you guys, and the beach. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go look for some more cameras today. Let's go. Okay, my friends, that is Deer Island. Hold on. See, that is Deer Island, okay? Look what we can see from here. The fucking bridge. This is Deer Island, not Horse. So I just went into this boat shop to try to get a charter, and guess who was sitting there? One of the boys. Pretty sure his father was sitting right there behind him. I'll put the location of where I was just at asking for charters, and they gave me a list. This list, I will not be calling these people, clearly, because they're all in cahoots. Why is the town got to be so that fucking small? Why? Okay, so this is a little boat ramp area down here on the beach in Ocean Springs. And hold on. Okay, so I just went into this little store right here to try and get info on a charter because the person that I had booked.
Okay, likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, with that all being said, let me go to the next clip because, like I said, hold on, beloveds. Let me go to this next clip. Now, this is the lady who claims that there's rumors of arrest coming soon. I don't know where she got this from. Maybe she has inside details. I'm not sure. Okay, but let's hear what she has to say. And then this man came out and made threats, honey, that if anybody gets arrested, well, I'll let y'all hear it.
Told that there is definitely a criminal investigation that is happening right now around the Nolan Wells case. The reason why the public hasn't seen the autopsy is because there are going to be charges brought up. Now, who exactly is going to be charged? I'm not sure, but the fact that there is actual criminal investigation gives me a little bit of hope. I want you to know that that criminal investigation is only happening because of people like you and me. Those of us that continue to make content and to continue to boost up Nolan's story is the exact reason why all of this is going forward. Listen, we still got a lot of work to do because at the end of the day, we need to know what happened to Nolan. You may notice that I'm on a new page here. Yeah, the block got hot on that other page and people are reporting me. They're not happy with us doing this digging, I can tell you that. So give me a follow on this page if you want to follow along on not only Nolan's case, but I'll also be talking more about Daniel and Tyler because they also deserve a platform.
Now I want you all to pay attention because yes, absolutely. I think I'm gonna make me an extra page too, honey, because I told you all they gave me 2 strikes yesterday on TikTok. They gave me 2 strikes for community guidelines, and I really didn't say much as far as I was concerned. And then today, the video that I put up, I don't think it's even on the For You page. So yes, when it looks like you're telling things that might be plausible, that's what it looks like they're doing. Okay, that's been happening to plenty of content creators. Okay, so please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this guy who had the nerve to make what I deem as a thinly veiled threat. And we've heard from him before because if you all remember, those of you who tuned in for the broadcast from this morning and yesterday, he's the same guy who was talking about Christine Wansley and bringing up her past, with Sarah Fields going and digging up the so-called dirt. And also, I should have explained it further this morning in case you missed the broadcast yesterday. As it pertains to that court case, Mrs. Wansley is the one who basically wanted to, she's the one who basically filed against him. Okay. And also, while he had custody of the children, she was going to school to be a nurse. And I think he actually did it. This is just my opinion, because I feel like he didn't want to pay child support. But she ended up having to pay him child support. So I'm sorry, they thought they were digging up dirt, but that didn't even make her look bad in my eyes. It made them look bad and foolish. And it had nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Nolan. So there's that.
Thing, but my point being, I'm kind of reaching a point that I'm at a breaking point with it. and I'm intentionally trying to not talk about it as much. But this is going to change the state forever, because if they somehow get a Hail Mary and they prove them boys did it, buckle up. Better go to that gun show this weekend.
What do you mean by that?
It's disgusting. But my point being, I'm kind of.
Now, how many of you took that as a thinly veiled threat? Because I absolutely did. Put a 1 in the chats if you took that as some sort of thinly veiled threat. What does he mean, better go to the gun show? What does he mean if they get some sort of Hail Mary and prove those boys did it? What is he talking about? So he doesn't want justice to be served, no matter if someone did do something, and I'm not saying anyone did, but do you hear how this man is talking? Okay, he's clearly a maggot. He clearly has to be a maggot. So I find it all very interesting. I certainly do. He's talking about going to a gun show. What's that all about? Go to a gun show for what? Go to a gun show for what? Let me tell you something about people like him. People like him sit around, watch and wait and hope and twiddle their thumbs, just anticipating some foolish reason to try to come and bring harm to Black people. Okay, if anyone is found guilty of anything pertaining to this case, we don't have a damn thing to do with it. So go to the gun show for what? Okay? For what? I find it all interesting. He sounds so obtuse, but it is what it is. Now, I'm going to go to this next video because I'm going to go to this next video where this guy, hold on, let me get that off the screen. Yeah, that's what he said. You better go to the gun show. Really? That's right. After Truth said nobody's scared of them. I mean, absolutely not. It's just the fact that he said it and the fact that he is bold enough to say it on social media. Now, I'm curious as to why he hasn't been arrested, because I'm sure we all know what he was talking about. Now, had that been a Black person saying something like that, you don't think that the police would have been knocking on their door? If you all remember a few years ago, more than a few, but years ago, there was a Black woman on Facebook, and this is when there was a bunch of Black people losing their lives to police brutality, and she said something about Black people needing to rise up. And then so the police came and arrested her for saying that it was a threat. Okay? She could have been talking about rise up and stand up, speak out and say something. That to me didn't really get that. I didn't get the impression that she was talking about physically harming anyone, but that's what they said. So why is he still sitting there, still talking trash? There's no charges pressed. No one feels that was a threat. None of law enforcement feels that was a threat. I'm sending that to the police. As a matter of fact, I'm going to send it to the FBI and see what happens. Probably nothing, but I'm going to send it nonetheless. Okay? Because they want to get in here and talk trash about us and act like we're the ones making it about race. But look at that. We're not out here threatening people. We're just trying to get to the truth. We're just trying to find out what happened and why in the hell all of these Black people keep swinging from trees. Okay? And all of these Black people recently, more specifically, it's been going on, but even more so recently, in the past 3 months, have been supposedly dying of accidental drownings amongst people who don't look like them. Okay, so I'm sorry. I think our curiosity or our concern is absolutely valid, is all I'm saying. The nerve of this maggots. Okay, anywho, let me continue. Talk about you can just tell that he's fed up. See? People like him, they don't want justice if it doesn't entail it being justice to where one of our people are thrown in prison. That's how that goes. And some of these foolish Black people don't seem to get that. That's why when everybody was going in on Diddy, yes, Diddy was nefarious or is nefarious and absolutely did things of which he should have gotten charges for. That violent video with Cassie, but he wasn't on trial for that. And just because I don't like someone or they've done nefarious things, if they're not proving the case in court, then I'm not going to side with them ever. Okay, because they don't have the same smoke and angst and energy for people who look like them most of the time. Because why was it 30 plus years before Weinstein ever got his day in court? Why is it that Epstein was allowed to get a sweetheart deal and continue with his nefarious lifestyle with others who were involved in it who have yet to be arrested? That's why I have a problem with that. Okay, please pay attention. But you know, some black people, they'll be the first ones to jump on the bandwagon against other black people, and they don't have any of that smoke for people who don't look like them. And they won't cover any stories as it pertains to people who don't look like them being accused of, being convicted of the same things that they were going so hard in the paint on Diddy for. Okay? Please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, let me pull up this next clip. Now, this guy says he thinks that it was an accident, just like I said Why
are y'all so adamant about him drowning, coming onto my page spewing propaganda and misinformation and crap? Listen, I was trying to be fair until y'all started talking. I was trying to be fair until y'all reminded me of so many inconsistencies in y'all stories and y'all doing all the talking. To take us off the scent trail of Nolan Wells, stop. Just stop. It's now a cover-up. It could have been an accident. I think it was an accident. But the cover-up is going to get all of y'all. Watch. So let's talk procedures, because that was my premise of my argument. Do you remember, what's that young lady name? Casey Anthony? She was in handcuffs one day after her daughter was reported missing. Not for murder, but for lying. And what about that guy named Brian Welsh? He was held 4 days, and the charge, it was misleading investigator. He is currently serving life right now. And lastly, what about that Lori Vallow girl who sat in jail for 4 months because before they even found her children? Procedure. That was my argument. Procedures. It's called collateral charge. It's not saying that y'all guilty, but basic procedures. Every state has it. You don't need the cause of death. You need one person whose story that doesn't match or doesn't hold up. So Jackson County, did all accounts match up? No. Other witnesses' story match up? No. Stories don't even match. And if they match, why don't you publicly say so? If you flip the skin color, if 3 black teenagers came back from Horn Island and that one white kid didn't, their clothes would be in evidence bags. Their phones would be imaged. That boat processed from the stem to the stern with blood forensics or cadaver dogs before sundown. Everyone knows this. That was my argument. Procedures. Any state goes through its procedures. So you can't sit up here and tell us that a young dead man's keys and his phone shows up at your house on the coffee table near a gaming console. One of those young men's keys is in this bedroom, that their asses would not be taken downtown in custody for procedure. It's procedural work. Any law enforcement would do it. So miss me with your Mississippi white privilege. Mississippi law enforcement, you missed opportunity to test their clothing worn that day. You could have did forensic blood work, blood splatter. Procedures, damn it. Because you immediately said it was no foul play and likely said it was a drowning. So you effed up. You effed up what? The procedures. Did you test the boat? No. Procedures. What about the closing? Nope. Procedures. What about the house where the keys and the phone was found? Nope. Procedures. That was my argument the whole time. So don't come at me. Arrest these 3 gentlemen right now. Hell, if it was me, I would arrest them right now because of what? Procedures. I'll put an ankle monitor on them right now because they may skip town. It is a crime to know of a crime that you didn't report. Truth has no party. Y'all be well.
He said what he said. He said what he said. Now, here's the thing. Someone asked the question, someone in the chat asked the question, why would anyone cover up an accident? Beloveds, I just told you all why Alex Murdaugh covered up a whole accident. His son didn't mean to kill anyone on that boat. His son didn't mean to have people thrown from the boat into the waters and to be injured. But he did so because he was reckless and negligent. He was drinking alcohol while driving the boat. Now, mind you, Warren did admit on Tap Dancing Tatum show that they were drinking. Everybody was drinking. That's what Warren said. We don't even have to speculate on that. And that's what brought me to this, what I said days ago. So let me just pull this up here. Ivo Ovi says, oh, wow, another tap dancer. I didn't think anything he said was tap dancing. I didn't think anything he said was tap dancing, beloved. I mean, that's your opinion, but I didn't see how he was tap dancing. Now, let's go back to the theory that I spoke of days ago, for those of you who missed it. And this was all by accidents. I was going in so hard in the paint. Now, mind you, I have since given my disclaimer about certain things previously said, just so y'all know, but hold on. This is not blaming anyone for anything. I don't know who did what, or if anyone did anything, as I told you all. But let's get into it. And this could prove it, because if he tied his boat to theirs to pull them, to give them a tow, and their boat was going slow, because it did say their boat was going like what? Like 2.7 miles, right? And then at one point it sped up. Well, Bart's boat should have been doing. Now, tripping and capsizing, tow lines tied to the stern. Hold on, let me just put this on the screen. Hold on, beloveds. So you all can see the proof is in the pudding. Okay? Bart's coach said he was able to say he was not involved comfortably. I don't care what his coach said, honey. I played his coach's video yesterday. Yeah, that was breaking news over here. We reported that first. But I don't believe the thing his coach said. Sounds like he was capping for him. That's just my opinion. However, so now, as you can see, yes, towing a 22-foot Triton boat with an amateur vessel is highly dangerous for an untrained individual without specialized maritime tow training, equipment, and knowledge of hull physics. This operation frequently leads to catastrophic vessel damage, severe injuries, or capsizing. Kinetic hull risk, tripping and capsizing. Now, tow lines tied to the stern of a small vessel can pull its rear sideways during a turn. This creates a lethal phenomenon known as bridging or girding, where the tow line forces flip the towing boat upside down in seconds. And what did I tell you all? I told you that would absolutely happen, because I know that without having to look it up. You see, it's common sense. Boats weigh thousands of pounds, as I told you previously. And if you tie a simple rope, no matter how big and strong that rope is, you tie it to one boat and you pull it from yours. Think about this. Imagine you're in a vehicle, right? Just picture this. Picture you're in a vehicle and you need your vehicle towed and you can't afford a tow truck. So you call your friend and tell your friend who has a pickup truck to tie your car to theirs and pull it on the back like a trailer. Not with a trailer, but as if they would pull a trailer, right? And this rope is pulling your vehicle. If the person drives too fast and then all of a sudden has to come to a stop for some reason, your car is going to slam into the back of that truck. That's the same thing that could happen if you're pulling a boat and you don't have the right equipment and you're not trained to do so. And quite frankly, you don't know what you're doing. And someone absolutely could get killed. Like they said, the boat could capsize. It could just flip over. Everybody falls out and drowns. Okay? Or at least someone could get injured, even if no one got killed. That's what could happen. So that all being said, the likelihood that I believe Bart absolutely towed that boat is just slim to none. Now, maybe he did.
This is the Palomar, the most expensive house ready to move in on.
But I just don't think so. Now, listen to this. Lack of brakes. Boats do not have brakes. If the towing vessel slows down, the momentum of the heavy 22-foot Triton will cause it to ram into the back of the lead boat, smashing the onboard motors. And then it's not going to go anywhere. Propeller entanglement. Slack tow lines quickly sink and wrap around spinning propellers, instantly disabling both vessels and leaving them adrift in open water. Let's talk about physical structural failures. Cleat rip-outs. Standard factory deck cleats on recreational boats are designed allegedly, for the record. Okay? August 8th said, why cover? It's so stupid. Massive kinetic energy. The line snaps back like a giant rubber band, carrying enough force to shatter windshields, break limbs, or cause fatal blunt force trauma to passengers. Wait a minute. Say what now? What if he did tow the boat and that's what happened to Nolan? What if he did tow the boat and that's what happened to Nolan? Let's go back to that again. Break limbs or cause fatal blunt force trauma to passengers? Damn it, Bart. Damn it, Bart. I think I just solved the case. I think I just solved the darn case. What if that's what happened to Nolan? What if they really did? What if they really did need that boat towed? And what if Bart pulling that boat is what happened? Please pay attention, because there's no brakes on a boat. And he did have this discoloration in the back of his head, like blunt force trauma. Damn it, I'm so smart. I just solved the case, y'all. I absolutely believe this is what happened. I absolutely believe that's what happened, but let me say allegedly for the record. Okay? August 8th said, why cover? It's so stupid. Because I'm going to tell you why if someone did this, oh my God. I want y'all to think about something. Remember that story that I was telling you all about Murdoch and how Murdoch's son and wife were killed? And then remember about the boat crash? Hold on, we'll get to that in a second. Hydrodynamic forces. Okay, let's talk about it. A disabled boat cannot actively plane on. Okay, I'm going to stop that right there. Now, that's what I said days ago. Did somebody just call the Queen Matlock? Queen Amadaya Matlock Shakur. Now, mind you, listen, allegations are not established as facts. Okay, this is strictly for entertainment purposes only. And quite frankly, it is for anyone to be proven guilty if anyone is in the court of law. Okay, please do not take my opinions, theories, or anything that I say as factual. All right, please pay attention. But the answer to that person's question and to many others who asked, in fact, why would someone cover it up? I just told you all. Look at Murdoch when his son accidentally ran into that bridge and killed those people. He didn't want to risk financial ruin. Rich people don't want to lose millions, and they don't want to go to jail. Okay, his son faced going to prison because he was charged with 3 criminal felonies. One was BUI with death involved, which BUI stands for boating under the influence. Let's not forget that Warren said that people were drinking. Okay, I just wonder if anybody driving that boat had been drinking. But anywho, also, he was charged with BUI that resulted in serious bodily injuries because people were very severely injured, some people. So that's why I said what I said, and that's why I said that, you know, on that day when I said that, I said allegedly it could possibly have been an accident and people wanted to cover it up. Now, I don't know that to be true. I was just throwing things out there. And in my haste and excitement, I said what I said. Okay, please pay attention. But that was a good theory as far as I'm concerned. Okay, make no mistake. Now, someone else asked, how would that explain his throat? Well, let's talk about that. We're not going to talk about Nolan's throat. We'll just talk about in the event of something like that actually happened. For example, in the Murdoch case. In the Murdoch case, had someone, you know, supposedly, no, we can't use the Murdoch case. We'll just say hypothetically. So if someone was supposedly involved in a situation where people thought they accidentally drowned and other people thought they didn't, and there were 2 autopsies performed, and in the second autopsy they didn't have the throat or the lungs, well, it could be that just perhaps the first autopsy, the person who did the first autopsy maybe didn't want the other pathologist to know that the person did not drown, because they would absolutely know whether the person drowned or not by the throat and lungs. If the throat and lungs are gone, then they can't tell how the manner of death or the cause of death was, and so therefore it would be undetermined. Okay? It would be undetermined. But it did say something in that scenario that I was reading to you about someone towing a boat that could cause blunt force trauma. Okay, now let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here's the thing too. Let me just say that Dr. Umar had a very good idea or very good talking point. He talked about them saying that Ben Crump and Al Sharpton should have called for this to be a federal investigation because Horn Island is federal land. But I don't think so, because here's why. I feel that if anyone, and I'm not saying any of the boys, I'm saying anyone, period, is found guilty of doing anything to Nolan, Trump would likely pardon them if they were white. Now, if it was a black person, it could be a different story, of course. But if it was a person who doesn't look like me and they were found guilty of this and it was in federal court, well, Trump would likely pardon them. And I've already told you all before that I thought Trump would pardon anyone that was found guilty. And then something you all said, or someone said, well, he couldn't do that because it's a state crime. I said at the end of the day, Trump does whatever he wants to do. Trump's a 34 times convicted felon. Trump is a credibly alleged rapist. Trump is a credibly alleged PDF file, and he's still in office. So please don't tell me what Trump can or cannot do. Trump can do whatever the hell he wants, sadly, and that's just the way it goes. Okay, now, let's talk about Horn Island, and then I'm going to bring up Dr. Umar's video or his interview. Okay, Horn Island is federal land because the vast majority of it, about 94% to be exact, is owned and managed by the National Park Service as a core part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore to protect its untouched coastal ecosystem. Okay, now, established in 1978, Congress established the Gulf Islands National Seashore in 1971 to preserve public barrier islands across Mississippi and Florida. Now, in 1978, Congress designated Horn Island as a federal wilderness area under the Wilderness Act of 1964, giving it the highest level of protection for public lands to keep it completely wild and free of commercial development. The federal status ensures the land acts as an undeveloped natural shield, protecting mainland Mississippi from hurricane storm surges. Federal protection safeguards critical habitats for nesting sea turtles, alligator, ospreys, and thousands of migratory birds. So yeah, it's federal land. And I think I may have told you all that before when I talked about the history of Horn Island and how the slaves used to go there to seek refuge back in the day. It was actually a part of the system of the Underground Railroad. Okay, for those of you who remember and saw that broadcast. So now, with that being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. We're going to go to Dr. Umar in a minute, but let's do clips first. Here we go.
That I'm pretty sure that nobody noticed. But if you go back and look at Grayson Tatum's pictures on the boat, did y'all ever notice that there was another person on that boat? I'm talking about a live person, because maybe y'all missed it because y'all were too focused on what was on the floor of the boat. But let me show you. Now, I can most certainly tell you who that is, or who I believe that is. But I'm gonna want to make sure that you guys can see what I can see, because I noticed this a minute ago. And remember, I don't want to hear nothing from nobody saying, oh, you're doing something else and you're making it something else, because you see Grayson Tatum's thingy on there, his logo or whatever that is. So, and y'all, please stop calling him a police, because he's not that anymore. Okay, he's Grayson Tatum. But anyways, you tell me what you see, because I know what I see, and it makes all the sense why this other individual is also on that boat. But you tell me. Let's talk about another thing that I'm pretty sure that.
Now, did you all see what she showed on that boat? Barbara said, Queen, after Matlock, you'll be Angela Lansbury, Murder, She Wrote. Listen, I actually love true crime, and I'm working on a true crime novel, okay, about a serial killer. So please pay attention. I just might be. Okay, so I find it interesting, but what did she show? Because I missed it. Let me just play this again. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm multitasking over here.
Nobody noticed. But if you go back and look at Grayson Tatum's pictures on the boat, did y'all ever notice that there was another person on that boat? I'm talking about a live person, because maybe y'all missed it because y'all were too focused on what was on the floor of the boat. But let me show you. Now, I can most certainly tell you who that is, or who I believe that is. But I'm gonna want to make sure that you guys can see what I can see.
Okay, who was it? Somebody tell me who it was. Somebody tell me who it was. I didn't see who that was, honey. I had several questions. I have several questions. I'll have to rewatch her video when I can see it better, or blow it up or something, because I couldn't see. She showed it really quick. So now we're about to talk about Rage Batum Tatum. Okay, we're about to talk about him. He needs to sit down somewhere, as far as I'm concerned. Out here painting the biggest of narratives. That's what he does best. Nessa G said you didn't see it either. Okay, good, honey. I thought something was wrong with my eyes. I mean, I do have on my spectacles. These are just simply for reading. They're not prescription, but nonetheless, I would have thought that I would have been able to see a little better. Okay, so anywho, like I said, I'll have to blow it up and go back and see it, because she shows it real quick, whatever it was.
Are out.
Haven't seen anything yet, correct?
Oh no, I haven't seen it. I remember being.
Hold on, let me put my overlay on here. Whew, Tatum just makes me sick. Just looking at him is cringe.
In there, but I haven't seen anything afterwards. I've been 100% correct on everything that I've said.
Damn, that's a lot of confidence.
One of the young men, he was a cool dude, man. And I felt like after the show, him and I can go hang out and be friends.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Sorry, but my homies, the ones that I rock with, I don't think they would really fuck with you. Even my white homies wouldn't fuck with you.
Play you a clip from your interaction with Santana. I think this is who you're speaking about.
Have you ever heard of the Veil of Darkness study?
No, I have not.
Or what are your initial thoughts?
No, I think I had a really good argument against what he was saying.
What was your argument again? Oh, I remember. Trust me, bros.
I haven't been able to evaluate the study. He brought it up on the spot. I can't validate if he's even telling the truth.
If I'm telling the truth, this is the Veil of Darkness study by Stanford. They took a look at 95 million traffic violations. You go look this one up for yourself.
Just because there's statistical data points, it doesn't tell the full story.
Brandon, you spoke with so much confidence.
And I had a young lady go on a ride along with me. She was a Black Lives Matter person or whatever. Every single car I drove by, I said, what race is that person? She couldn't tell. She had no idea.
Yep, I knew it. Trust me, bros.
There's one more clip and was talking about racism in the medical field.
Do you know the Black maternal mortality rate?
I don't know it. I think what he said was absolutely ridiculous.
On maternal mortality rates, the Black maternal mortality rate is 50.3 deaths per 100,000. The white maternal mortality rate is 14.5.
I have to go and look at the study to verify.
He's not going to look at anything because he doesn't care. And you all know about that mortality rate as it pertains to Black women, because I have covered that. And I showed you all that video of the young man who is Judge Hatchett's own son. And wasn't he Judge Hatchett's son or son-in-law? And his wife died. And it was just her giving birth, and she bled to death. She hemorrhaged. Okay, and it absolutely could have been prevented. This happens a lot in our community, but Rage Batum Tatum doesn't care because his wife is white. So he doesn't care about Black women having disparities in the medical system and, losing their children and their lives and or both, during delivery, labor and delivery. He doesn't care about that. Okay, he doesn't care about that, but let's continue, because he really thinks he's cooking, or he thought he was on that day. And also, I'm going to tell you what was revealed to me from Rage Batum Tatum during these, during the Jubilee. That just showed me the level of, or the lack of intellect that he has. This man is not smart at all. He's smart at grifting. He's smart at painting narratives. He's smart at doing what they want him to do. The MAGA minions, that's who I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, he's not an intellectual person. He is not very smart at all. He didn't know about any of those studies that were bringing up to him because he doesn't read, study, or research. Okay? But he wants to speak on things that he doesn't know about. What he's trying to do, I'm not going to tell y'all what he's trying to do, because I keep telling y'all I'm going to do an exclusive on him. And I just haven't gotten around, haven't had the time to put it together. But I know exactly what he's up to. And I'm going to have to talk about it sometime this week. Okay, but let's let him cook, because now he's talking to this Django. I'm sorry, Django. I heard somebody else saying Django, and it was just cringe, and that's why I accidentally said it. But we all know it's Django. So he has been talking to this Django from Ocean Springs, who's been going around here saying these things, or he was saying things at first, but now he's trying to walk it back. He was trying to act like there's nothing going on. There's no racism in Ocean Springs. When I've shown you proof and receipts that there absolutely is. I've shown you people from Ocean Springs who say that there is. I had a guest on here from Ocean Springs, a whistleblower, who told you about the things that go on there. I've shown you the Klan activity that goes on there. I've shown you the proof that the Klan was there, that the Klan was passing out flyers trying to recruit people there not too long ago. So absolutely, when he was saying all of these things, he was just a liar who lies. But now it seems like he's trying to walk some of it back and act as though he's trying to defend Mrs. Christine Wells Wansley, Nolan's mother, because of all the backlash that he got. Okay, so let's continue. Like up, everyone, please like and share.
Which I understand. However, at a respect to the family and respect for you, because I think you're a genuine man, I'm not going to bring up Christine or her husband at all. I'm going to let it go until the results are over and all that. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to make the promise to you and to everybody watching this. I'm going to let it go. Now Benjamin Crump,
I'm on him like right on right.
Right on right. Stank on, you know what? He fair game. But Christine, I'll say this. Let me say this. I want this out there. People can clip this if they want to. Please. I want to apologize if I offended or hurt Christine. I didn't have any intentions to. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. As a former police officer, I tend to divorce myself from picking a side or getting too overly emotional for anybody. So sometimes they can come off as insensitive, right? Meaning that I'm looking at an investigation and I take the feelings out of it. And so I'm going straight for what's the facts.
He is such a liar, saying that he takes the feelings out of it and he's going straight for what's the facts. That is all BS. When he says that he tries not to take sides, that is all BS as well. What he does is, whatever side the black people are on, he takes the opposite side. Tatum, that's what you do. Okay, you maggots, that's what you do. And stop calling yourself an officer, because you weren't that good when you were one. And I believe he was only an officer for about 5 or 6 years. That's not even enough time for him to still be calling himself that. Okay, please pay attention. He wants to sound as if he's more important than he actually is. Okay, but let's let him continue. I have a surprise for you all as it pertains to him in a moment.
What's this? And I want her to know, and the family to name, and I know she's upset with me, which I understand. However, at a respect to the family and respect for you, because I think you're a genuine man, I'm not going to bring up Christine or her husband at all. I'm going to let it go until the results are over and all that. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to make the promise to you and to everybody watching this. I'm going to let it go. Now Benjamin Crump,
2 raccoons sitting there enjoying each other's conversation and company. Please make it all make sense. Okay, please make it all make sense. Tatum is the absolute worst. Okay, nobody wants his sorry, disingenuous apology. For what?
This is me to just please cease with that, because you don't know what they're going through and how you can cause them to go further down a rabbit hole with their health, as mental health involved and a lot of things,
Yeah, man, I'm glad you said that, because, I when you get on the social media and you get going and you get the momentum, in policing, we call it operational momentum, which means that once it starts going, it's hard to scale back on it. And I feel what you're saying in a very genuine way, man. And I love that you said this on my show, because I'm going to make a decision that I'm going to leave.
He can sit down somewhere. I want you all to pay attention. He's talking so nice and friendly to him, you see, because they're the same type of person. And that man, like I told you, he doesn't care anything about Mrs. Christine Wansley. He doesn't care anything about her. Okay, absolutely nothing at all. All right. Queen, you are too funny. Thank you, LL. I wasn't trying to be. I'm being absolutely serious, beloved. Okay, I'm being absolutely serious. Now, with that all being said, as I promised, I have a treat for you all, and it pertains to Tatum. Let's get into it. Let's get into it. You all should like this.
Everybody watch out. They come off as a race bait 'em. Everybody get down. I think I see a raccoon. Duck down. You don't want that raccoon stuff on you. Oh, please. hell happened to you? Who did this to you? Tell us who done it. They dead wrong. Cause you the raccoon of the century. Never nothing good about your own people, never from you. You even said it's on your mask, you deserve that. I'm been done with your beta mask. Oh, now you capping for them folks. Who you call?
Okay, you all can hear the rest of it when I go in on him with the receipts. Now, that all being said, Queen, you said you're going to speak on Dr. Umar. I absolutely am. Can I get to it, please? I have several other receipts. Before I get to that, beloved, just please wait. Okay, oh, so there it is. Okay, I think that pretty much sums it all up. And shout out to Truth Brown for that lovely selection. Okay, that sums up exactly who he is. Officer Tatum is Django. Unchained. Django Unchained. I can't believe I said the Django because I've been hearing somebody say that for days and I just cringe every time they do because I'm like, honey, if you were really black, you would know how to say it. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this clip that someone just sent me about Nolan Wells's or the fundraiser for Nolan's frenemies, okay, raising big legal questions on TikTok. Thank you. I believe it was Keisha who just said she sent me that. Thank you, beloved. But here's the thing. I knew it was possibly going to raise legal questions. I told you all that from day one. I said, how dare they use Nolan's name without permission from the family, and that I hope that the family would say or do something about it. Because I'm sorry, make that make sense, right? If you haven't shown love to the family, how dare you put their son's name on anything? Likes up. Don't forget to like and share. Here we go.
Organized a fundraiser for anticipated litigation against people discussing the case. They're raising money before a complaint has even been filed. The fundraiser says if litigation becomes necessary. So an ER doc who offered a $50,000 reward is now collecting money just in case? And get this, the funds are being received by Taylor and Cox, whose founder, Calvin Taylor, is also a sitting judge, serving the same South Mississippi community as Judge Ashley Cole. So if a judge's family is using a legal fund to identify and potentially sue residents in the same community where that judge serves, what happens if one of those residents later appears before that judge? Even if the judge's family decided not to sue, couldn't investigating a resident in preparation to possibly sue them still create an appearance of bias if they had a case before that judge? Something the Mississippi Code of Judicial Conduct warns against? What if that resident doesn't even know that they were being researched by this legal team? How could they ensure that their case was heard fairly in court? The questions just keep adding up. Warren Hudson's dad has organized a fundraiser for
Absolutely nefarious. Absolutely nefarious. And thank you, beloved, for sending me that, honey, because I had not seen it. Okay, isn't it all crazy? Isn't it all crazy? I mean, the details just keep coming out. The details just keep coming out, honey, and they won't stop. You see, one thing about it is I always tell you all, beloveds, truth always comes to light. Okay, no matter how far you think you can hide it down, you can hide it at the bottom of the deepest ocean. You could put it at the top of the highest mountain, honey. But at some point, the truth is always going to come out, and that's just what it is. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, here's a lady who wants to talk about rage baiting, tap dancing Tatum, aka Django Unchained.
Rayson Tatum, who initially said that he believed that this was all innocent, but then just a couple of days ago he said he believed that Nolan actually was murdered. You be the same Rayson Tatum who ran Miss Christine in the ground and then came back a couple of days ago and also apologized and said that he won't talk about her anymore. Oh, you mean the same old caring Rayson Tatum who Judge Ashley inboxed him. She DM'd him. He didn't go looking for them. He didn't go asking, let me help you guys. No, she DM'd him and said, we would like to go on your podcast. You mean that? Oh my God, so caring, Racing Tatum, because he cares so much about them. Oh, please. He don't care about nothing but making some money on his podcast to continue getting the support that he gets from y'all every single day. And y'all continue to fall for the okie dokie and support anything that he says and does, as long as he is tearing down a Black person. Because I wonder how many ratings that he got that day when he apologized to Miss Christine. I wonder how. Probably not much, because it wasn't what y'all wanted, huh? The same Racing Tatum who initially said,
He's a whole hot mess. Now I want you all to pay attention, because this lady that I'm about to play, she's supposedly a psychic, and she has been making some so-called predictions on this case. Now I can't verify or substantiate any of her claims, but she seems to think that she's on to something because of the latest events. Okay, please, let's listen to what she has to say.
Beautiful people, let me get this straight. So news is out that Warren Hudson, Morgan Seymour, and Jax Patello are going out to Horns Island with their attorneys to look at Horns Island. High-profile attorney Edward Andrew Polsick, who represented Donald Trump, is going out there with them. They're going to scope the scenery. Said they're not trying to gather any evidence, just going to scope the scenery. Now, how ironic does this come out after I post my video of the ritual that was done on Nolan Wells? Didn't I tell y'all there was evidence on Horn Island? They tried to sweep away footprints. Didn't I tell you there's something on the bottom of somebody's shoe, fluid of Nolan's? Didn't I tell you that the entity that was used, their remains are on Horns Island? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I told y'all they was going to scramble, and I love it. Hey, my beautiful.
All right, y'all heard that, honey. As I said, I can't verify or substantiate a bit of it. Now, with that being said, hold on, because I forgot to thank E. Worrell. Now I can't get to the super chat. I'm so sorry, beloved. But E. Worrell, I want to thank you for your $20 super chat that you just sent and said, buy your own. Okay? Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, so Betty Boop said, Queen, I love your surprises. Oh, thank you, beloved. Shout out to Truth Brown for that lovely selection that I just played. Okay? So now with that all being said, this is all getting more and more interesting. It absolutely is. Now let's go to this next clip. And for anyone who has entered the chat late, anyone who is late tuning in, please make sure you go back and watch the parts that you missed so that it all makes sense. Okay, please go back and watch the parts that you missed.
The boy Evan's mother came out and she was intoxicated, yelling at everyone to leave her house before she called the cops. She then went on to say that they let everyone but Nolan leave the party, and the last she saw him, they had him leaned up against the basketball post inside the pool, gasping for air and coughing up blood.
So could the parents be involved or implicated in this alleged situation? Could the parents allegedly be a part of this whole debacle at this moment in time? What?
Now, obviously, the part about this that doesn't make sense is that the boys and the judge all said that the last time they saw Nolan was on the island and he decided to stay at the island. But remember, the girl he was with, Katie or whatever her name is, said that she saw him getting on the boat with them to leave the island.
Now, this is where things get a little bit more diabolical, because everyone keeps saying that people said this, people said that. Where are they getting these photos from? Where are these so-called messages on Facebook? When I did a little bit of digging and I found someone who was talking about this particular situation. And hopefully this can bring us to a full circle event.
There's new alleged information coming out in Nolan's case, and this is what I want to start with. If this was not taken on the 4th of July, why does this man have USA shaved into his chest? This is a picture that was posted on Evan Knowles' Instagram. It has since been deleted. Most of the time, I'm trying to go with the facts. But honestly, alleged account, I absolutely believe, and if this is true, everything's going to change. And Nolan's friends commented this on Facebook. Bro, Nono didn't get into a fight at the island. It was our other friend. Nono and Wyatt did get into an altercation right after, not even 10 minutes later, because Wyatt took his phone and Evan was trying to be hard. Nolan was definitely screaming, give me my fucking phone back, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with you? So they all calmed down. So that's when they head to Evan's house because he was throwing a pool party. So yes, Nono came to the party and yes, he was drinking, but Wyatt and Evan and Morgan and Andrew was really high. And I think they was trying to get Lucy and Natalia to try something as well. But yes, they got into it again at the pool party. It didn't end until almost 1 a.m. I know Evan's mom kicked us all out. Once they started fighting, it was Andrew and Evan, and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing.
Hold on. Once they started fighting, it was Andrew and Evan, and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing, saying, get him, get him. So Andrew and Evan were fighting? Nolan, allegedly? I'm not sure. Can somebody break that down so I can have a clear understanding of what that means?
I would love to know the questions that they're responding to, but it goes on. LOL, obviously, that's how they got the phone because I called LOL and his phone and his keys was on top of his Xbox. That's why they requested him to have a private autopsy because once they came over to the house, Evan and Warren had deleted everything, including the videos Nono posted that night. And I showed them the picture of all of them at the pool party that night. And that would explain the deleted like Snapchat stuff because we have to remember, they can't give us every single detail right off the bat. Jay saying that because he is friends with them, I mean, we all was until this. So clearly there's a divide happening. IDK, why Jay still communicating with them anyways, but he's always been like that. But no, this messed up because Nona would still be here if he didn't go to that pool party. He went around people that was real high and the parents allowed it. But yeah, Nono did make it back to land. Different screenshot that I found says, yes, ma'am, my brother going to get justice. The truth is out. They took him back to the island that Monday morning around 4 a.m. They found him, I think 8 or 9. I can show you the picture as well. I would tell you to go look at it, but Evan deleted the picture Sunday. Okay, I'm trying to get all my thoughts out. So first off, this photo was posted 21 hours ago. So somebody screenshot it before he deleted it on Sunday. Sunday, obviously a week ago from today, the day before his body was found. Now, his dad said that they went to Horn Island and they didn't see anything wash up, nothing. Nobody saw anything. So that would align with them bringing his body back to make it look like he never left. Another thing that makes more sense.
And this could have been an accident. It
sounds like the boy Evan's mother came out and she was intoxicated, yelling at everyone to leave her.
What do you all think about that? The details just keep coming out. Okay, all of the information just keeps coming out. Now, this video comes out saying what illegal activity could get you 10 years or more. Okay, because someone posted something else to their social media and it has supposedly been deleted.
Post that you're sharing regarding Liam, but we're going to rewrite it a little bit because those thugs are not Nolan's friends. So here we go. Did a video of this before, but since Liam is sharing little information more, why not? So apparently there's this lady who said that she saw, she messaged Eric and told Eric that I saw the fight or etc. what was going on. And she was telling Eric that if he doesn't take it to the police, that she was going to go and give it their information. Hopefully she's already done it, but that's how this is all coming together. She messages or DMs Eric. Eric blocked the girl or the lady. And then, however, Liam apparently sent some messages to Bree. And these I thought were very interesting and telling.
I'm sorry, I forgot I was on mute. Okay, so listen, I don't know if you all can see that on the screen, but this is supposedly what he posted and then deleted. It says, when your parents ask about your day out, but everything you did was illegal, deserving a minimum of 10 years in prison. You all hear that? Now, why would anyone post something like that?
Did you do, Eric? What would warrant you guys to get 10 years or more if your parents knew what you guys did that 4th of July night or into the morning hours of the 4th of July? I mean, negligence of murder maybe, or I don't know. You tell us, since you made such a very, very bold statement. Hey, Bree, thank you for that post that you're sharing regarding Liam, but we're going to.
Yeah, I have even more questions at this point. Okay, so now let's go to Dr. Umar. Let's go to Dr. Umar and what he had to say about this whole thing. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Dr. Umar said they need to bring federal charges.
Ben Crump and Al Sharpton calling for a federal investigation. That's number one. Number two, Art, guess what? Horns Island is federal land. Horns Island is federal land, Art. If Horns Island is federal land, Art, why are we not demanding that the feds do the investigation and not Sheriff Ledbetter? The island is federal land, Art. It's federal land. Why aren't the feds carrying out the investigation? That's the second reason they should be involved. The third reason they should be involved, Art, is there's a strong likelihood that this was a federal hate crime and a lynching. Very strong likelihood that this was Nolan Wells's death is very likely to have been a federal hate crime, and it is very likely to have been a federal lynching, meaning more than one person participated in the racially motivated crime. So I just gave you 3 reasons why the feds should be investigating this case and not the sheriff's office. Why is Ben Crump and Al Sharpton dragging their feet? Benjamin Crump, you need to have a street march. You need to bring all of the black militia groups to Mississippi, and we need to march on Mississippi. Your approach to this investigation is too humble. It is too docile. It is too meek. It is too soft. You are dealing with Mississippi, and you have not activated any street protests. Sister Christine and Brother Nolan are not going to get justice, Art. Sister Christine and Brother Nolan Wells are not going to get justice, Art, if Benjamin Crump doesn't activate a street activism campaign. It is time for Ben Crump and Al Sharpton to activate a street activism campaign. And let me say this, Art. Al Sharpton is about to have another march on Washington. For what? For what? He's going to commemorate the Dr. King 1963 March on Washington. He's been doing it almost every year. But Art, it's an empty symbol. Al Sharpton, listen to me, sir. You don't need to march on D.C. We don't need another empty, meaningless Democratic Party sponsored march in Washington, D.C. We need you to switch that march, Art. Al Sharpton, if he cares about justice for black Mississippi, if Al Sharpton cares about justice for black Mississippi, Art, he will switch the march from D.C. to Mississippi. Al Sharpton needs to switch the march from Washington, D.C. to Mississippi. And it should be 4 days, Art. It should be 4 days, Art. We should march in Senatobia, Mississippi one day for baby Cohen, who was shot and murdered by the police in the Walmart parking lot. We got to march for baby Cohen, who was shot by the police in Senatobia. We have to march in Cleveland, Mississippi for our brother Trey Reed, who was unalived September 15th, 2025, hanging from a tree on Delta State University campus in Cleveland, Mississippi, September 15th, 2025. So we need to march in Cleveland, Mississippi. We need to march in Senatobia, Mississippi. We need to march in Jackson, Mississippi, because what just happened in Jackson on Monday, Art? A black woman, 28, 29 years old, Tasia Fortune, was found hanging from a tree. Monday, Art, 4 days ago, a black woman was found hanging from a tree in Jackson, Mississippi. And check this out, Art. They said her corpse, her body, had been hanging from the tree for 3 to 4 days, Art. 3 to 4 days, her body was hanging. It gets worse, Art. It gets worse. They said they had to use a ladder They had to use a ladder to go up on the tree and get our sister Tasia down. And guess what the Mississippi State Medical Examiner ruled it, Art? Guess what she ruled it? The same thing she ruled Trey Reed's death as: suicide. Let me ask you a question, Art. How many black people you know hang themselves from trees? I don't know no black person who have ever taken their life by hanging themselves from a tree. In fact, it's almost impossible to hang yourself from a tree. In fact, black people have been hung from trees by white people for over 200 years. So you mean to tell me the very method that has been used to take our lives at the hands of white people, we are now taking the method ourselves, Art? We are now taking the method ourselves, Art, and we're going to hang ourselves with a noose the same way white people used to hang our ancestors? Who does that make sense to? That don't make no damn sense. So now all of a sudden, when black people want to take their life, we're going to go outside, get a noose, and hang ourselves suspended from a tree. That's nonsense. In the Mississippi State Medical Examiner, Art, every time a black person is found hanging in Mississippi, she wants to rule it a suicide. You know why, Art? If you rule it a suicide, you don't have to investigate. If you rule it a suicide, you can close the case and you don't have to investigate. So Ben Crump and Al Sharpton need to turn up the heat under Sheriff Ledbetter's office. They need to turn up the heat under District Attorney Mulrath's office because they are dragging their feet. They are not taking this investigation seriously. It is too quiet. We don't know anything. Sister Christine don't know anything after 30 days, and Ben Crump and Al Sharpton need to go to the streets. Since you like to march every year in Washington, D.C., Al Sharpton, why don't you bring your behind to Mississippi and march? We need to march in Senatobia. We need to march in Cleveland, Mississippi. We need to march in Jackson for Sister Tasia Fortune. And we need to march in Ocean Springs for Brother Nolan Wells. And check this out, Art. The Attorney General said they're going to keep the toxicology and the autopsy report under seal. They're going to keep the toxicology and the autopsy under seal, Art, until the grand jury gets to see it. A grand jury is going to decide whether or not anybody is going to get charged with a crime, Art. And I have a big problem with that, Art. That's what happened with Carmelo Anthony. That's what happened with Carmelo Anthony. A grand jury proceeding is a relatively secret process, Art. You don't even know who's on the grand jury, Art. You don't even know who's a group of secret white people. A group of secret white people are going to decide if any of those 30 white kids on those 3 boats should be charged with a crime in the death of Nolan Wells. And we won't even know who they are, and we won't even know how they came to their decision, Art. We won't even know who the grand jury is, and we won't even know how the grand jury came to their decision. What is Ben Crump ready to do? What is Al Sharpton ready to do if the grand jury returns no indictments on anybody at all for the death of Nolan Wells? Will Benjamin Crump be ready to march then, Art? Will Al Sharpton be ready to march in Mississippi then? If the grand jury says this was an accidental drowning, case is closed, no indictments, what is Ben Crump and Al Sharpton going to do? Because right now, and I respect them both, Art, but right now, the way this case is being handled, they are too docile, they are too meek, they are too humble, and they are too soft. We need some street action. We need some street protests. We need some street marches. We need to raise up the temperature in Mississippi, Art.
Okay, well, here's the thing, Dr. Umar. I think that Ben Crump has raised up the temperature in Mississippi. Now, the fact of the matter is, I don't know why people want to say or act as though Ben Crump is just in charge of whoever is going to get charged, whether or not he's able to have people taken to trial. He's not able to do that. He's not a criminal defense attorney. He has no say-so in who gets prosecuted or any of that. Ben Crump is a civil rights attorney. That's all he has. That's all he is privy to do as it pertains to this case. Now, and also, I don't see what marching is going to do. Marching has never gotten us anywhere. Okay, it's never gotten us anywhere. That's why I never do it. What has gotten us places is boycotting. Look how effective the Montgomery bus boycott was. Marching is never going to get us anywhere, and it never has. All it gets you is some tired feet and worn out shoes, as far as I'm concerned. I think that Ben Crump's doing a good job thus far. I don't have any complaints. He said that he feels he's acting too docile. Well, I don't see where that's going. I don't see where he's been docile. That's just not my take on it. Now, some of you may feel that way, the same as Dr. Umar, but I just honestly don't. Okay, I just honestly don't. I don't feel like marching is going to do anything. I'm just tired of the marching. Okay, for what? At this point. Okay, that's not it. That is not the answer for me. For me, the answer is boycotting. Hit them in the pockets, because as I told you, the people who hate us don't care anything about anything other than blood and revenue. And we just heard that man give us a thinly veiled threat that if they are found guilty, or if they get what did he call it? A Hail Mary, and they get found guilty, or they prove that they did it. That's what he said. Then he told people, he gave a dog whistle. He gave a whole dog whistle. He told the white folk they better go to the gun shop. Why isn't he arrested? That's what I'd like to know. Why hasn't he been arrested? Okay, for cyber threats. I have several questions. For inciting a possible race war. Why hasn't he been arrested? What about the guy who came out talking about basically a race war? That same guy then later came out talking about white men need to stand up and be white men, and basically making threats about black men taking white women. Why haven't any of these people been arrested? They're making threats to black people, thinly veiled, but threats nonetheless. But they can go and have all of these people investigate threats to people who had something to do with whatever, or went to Horn Island July the 4th, threats that they've been supposedly getting, but no arrest for Nolan's family, no arrest for people making threats on social media, at least not making threats to black people. They're not getting arrested. Okay? So I find it all interesting, but I am going to send that video to the FBI on tomorrow. And I'm also going to send it to the police as well. We'll see if anything happens. It likely won't, but I'm going to send it nonetheless. Okay, nonetheless. And everybody that sees that video should send it as well. If we bombard them with it, then maybe, just maybe, they'll do something. If I send one email or send that video by myself, they'll likely just discard it or whatever. But if many people complain about it and send it, then maybe that'll force their hands. Okay, because that's what I feel. Because I really don't appreciate him making that thinly veiled threat. What is he even talking about? See, here's the thing. I want you all to pay attention, because now this brings me back to what I previously told you all about Beulah May Donald, and how, they killed her son, the Klan did, and now they never call it a lynching. Okay, they always say it's self-deletion. So with that all being said, that's the reason they don't say, not just so they don't have to investigate, because they're not going to investigate if they don't want to anyway, as far as I'm concerned, but they do that because they don't want the Klan to have to pay, because so many of them belong to the Klan. Politicians, law enforcement, lawyers, judges, all these so-called elite folk that some people think are just good, honest, hard-working, decent citizens belong to the Klan. Specifically down there in Mississippi. Okay, that's why there's 7 different Klan groups down there in Mississippi. And let's not forget how the United Dixie White Knights of the KKK was down there passing out those flyers in Ocean Springs. And also, don't forget what the whistleblower said. And I can't substantiate this because I don't live down there, but the whistleblower told me, and I told you all days ago, that they were recruiting for young people, teenagers, high schoolers. Okay? And we do know that the Klan absolutely does rituals. I was the first one to tell you all that. You heard it here first. I told you all weeks ago that the Klan does these rituals and they specifically do them on July the 4th. And by the fact that this year was the 250th anniversary of the U.S., absolutely they were doing those rituals. Why wouldn't they? Okay, please pay attention. Why wouldn't they? The Klan is very active. This is why we're seeing all of these people swinging from trees as strange fruits. This is why we're seeing that. And then I saw someone in the chat just a few moments ago, someone by the name of Corey somebody. Yeah, Corey, where is his comment? Corey said, hold on. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. I want to go to his comment because I think he's a troll. But Corey said something about they're just trying to frame white people. Frame white people for what? Why would anyone need to hang someone from a tree to frame white people? Because the fact of the matter is, anytime one of our people is hung from a tree, white people don't go to jail. Even though we know that it's likely a maggot who did it, one of those people who don't like us, a maggot or AKA MAGA minion, AKA Confederates. Okay, they don't even investigate it. They quickly say self-deletion. So I highly doubt that any Black person would say that to frame anybody. And as it pertains to people being seen as strange fruit from trees, I did a whole broadcast about that the other day, and you all know we don't have to frame them. That's a part of their culture. Facts. That's a part of their culture. Okay, that's what that is. You don't have to frame somebody for doing what they've always done. You don't have to frame somebody for something that that's ingrained in the fiber of their DNA. You don't have to frame anyone for that. Boo-boo. That's what you don't have to do ever. Okay, it's enough of them going around doing that till this day. Okay, to the point that you don't have to frame anyone. And we all know, if we have common sense, which I would hope that we all do, we all know that there's no way in the hell that young woman took herself and strung herself up in that tree by herself. And they had to get the fire department to come and let her down. Okay, so that's what we know. Now, Ebony says we should demand our organizations demand to move federal assets out of Mississippi once Trump is out of office. Absolutely, beloved. And thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. You know, like I said, I don't know why people that look like me still want to even live in Mississippi. You couldn't pay me to live there. You couldn't pay me to live there. If you bought me $1 million house and gave me anything that I asked for, I wouldn't live in Mississippi. That's what I wouldn't do. I like to have peace of mind. Okay, I like to have peace of mind. I don't need to be amongst people who hate the people who look like me. I would never want to be around or party to, okay, being around Karens just harassing me all day and all the other stuff that you have to concern yourself with when you in fact live in under those conditions. It's never worth it. At least not for me, it isn't. Reggie says boycott Mississippi. Yeah, we should do that too. But at the end of the day, we definitely need to boycott these stores. And let me just tell you all something. I'm about to conclude this broadcast in a minute, but let me just tell you all this. Remember how yesterday I was telling you all that we need to have a boycott, and specifically for these name brand corporations or whatever? Let me say this. Here's the thing. Now, I previously had mentioned boycotting Walmart, but let's forget about Walmart. Let's forget Walmart for a second, because who you really need to boycott are these name brand places. Gucci. I showed you on the video the other day, all of these places that have done, or all of these companies, these brands, okay, who have basically been racist, said and done racist things and totally disrespected Black people. But some of you, for whatever reason, okay, clout chasing, you just want to act like you live in large and charge, I don't know. But some of you have absolutely continued to shop and spend your money there foolishly. And I don't know why, because all you're doing is helping them to build their generational wealth. And most of the people of my people that spend money there absolutely have not accumulated generational wealth. Okay, so that's just crazy. There's no way in hell I'm gonna sit there and help somebody build their wealth and I don't have my own. That's crazy. That's crazy work. So I really think you all need to do that, to boycott these name brands. And also, for those of you who don't know, the word name brand is very telling. They're branding you with their name, just like their ancestors branded our ancestors with their name during slavery. Okay, they would brand them literally with their names. Okay, this is why many of you have the slave owners' names. I don't, but many of you have the slave owners' names, and that's why. So you're going to walk around, first of all, giving them money to build generational wealth, and then at the same time, you're going to walk around with their brand on you. Yeah, I don't think so. I absolutely don't think so. Okay, please pay attention. Moderators, could you all please get Corey out of here? Corey is clearly trolling. I see people keep saying stuff to him. Someone, I'm looking for him. I don't want to keep looking because I'm trying to do the commentary at the same time. So someone please ban Corey from the channel. Okay, someone please ban him from the channel. I'm seeing too many people paying attention to him. Okay, so please go ahead. And I have asked you all 1,000 times, but you all just don't listen. I have asked you all to not respond to trolls. If anything, tell the moderator that there's a troll in the chat, because all you're doing is giving them what they want. Okay, and how obtuse is that? You should ask yourselves. Okay, that's why I don't sit here and go back and forth with trolls. I might read them for filth and then block them. That's the most I'm going to do. I'm not going to engage in a back and forth with foolish people. Okay, who are clearly irrelevant and who want to paint narratives and disrupt things. That's what I'm not going to do. And neither should any of you. How many times do I have to say it? Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, has he been blocked? That's right. Leon said stop engaging. I mean, it's not that hard to do, is it? Unless you just can't control yourself. Okay, Asha Katano says, boycott, don't march and swing. I'm definitely not marching. Boycotting is the way as far as I'm concerned, beloved. And thank you for your insight to the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now I'm trying to find out, did anybody block him? Moderators, where are you all at? Hold on. I'm sorry for this interruption, beloveds, but I have to find out. Have the moderators gotten rid of him? Moderators, did you all get rid of him? Put one of the moderators, let me know, because I don't have time for foolishness. Has any of the moderators blocked him? Are y'all off today and y'all are just chilling or what? Is anybody working? Yes, he was blocked. Okay, great. Thank you, beloved. Okay, so now, that all being said, let's go to this video where I show you all another company that is clearly racist, a name brand company. Let's get into it. They were being racist to LeBron James's wife, Savannah. Okay, please pay attention, at least from this report. That's what is being alleged.
Savannah James allegedly turned away from Hermes, was it Hermes? I don't know. Store in Italy. Friends claims employee was fired and they were offered a VIP shopping experience. Listen, don't even accept the VIP shopping experience. Fuck them, right? Hermes, or whatever. Listen, y'all, I'm sick of these big brands and these big corporations showing their true colors, not respecting the Black customer base, not respecting us as people, not respecting us when we walk in their stores or whatever. It's just showing where it's at. Now, I refuse to believe that this was a random rogue employee discriminating against this woman when they came in the store for whatever reason. I feel like this is bred into the company. And if I'm not mistaken, Hermes or whatever had some issues in the past along these lines. So I feel like Black celebrities, Black wealthy people, Black people that have influence, they need to support Black businesses. Support Black businesses. That's what's gonna have to be done. Like when you're at that level, getting product that, is just for fashion, like a purse or an accessory or stuff like that, clothing, whatever the case may be, support Black businesses.
I mean, that should absolutely go without saying. I don't even know why we have to, at this point, tell Black people that. Black people should know darn well to support Black businesses. Why would you sit there? It really annoys me. Okay, it really annoys me. Now, you can do whatever you choose to do with your money, but why in the hell would you choose to give your money thousands of dollars to people who don't even care about you, rather than giving it to someone in your own community who's trying to do the same thing they're doing. And their brands are just as nice. They just don't get as much attention. And I want you all to pay attention also to the fact that Gucci would not be who they are or what they are if it had not been for Dapper Dan. Okay? I'm sorry. They would not be had it not been for him. All right, he changed the game for them. And the only reason they're also so popular is because of people who look like me wearing their clothes. All right. And after that whole thing with that turtleneck that had the black face or whatever, you all should have been stopped wearing that. Okay. I just turn my nose up when I see black people still wearing that crap. I mean, y'all do what you want to do, honey, but don't tell me you're pro-black when that's what you do. Don't tell me you love black people when that's what you do. Don't tell me that you're down for the cause when that's what you do. That's all I'm saying. It's a lot of whole fakes and frauds, and that's what I'm sick of. Please pay attention. And then they be sitting up here talking about, we don't have any allies. You're not even an ally your dang self. If you're sitting here giving money to the oppressor and you don't have a problem with that, and then you won't even give money, or you complain when black people are trying to sell your product, okay, or a service, and then you want to complain and ask for freebies and discounts, but you'll pay $500 for a t-shirt just because it says Gucci on it. There's no black people named Gucci. Okay, so please sit down somewhere. And yes, I'm talking to all of those who do it. If you're mad, you just are. That's what it is. Okay, that's just what it is. Now, so that all being said, there's one more point of business that I want to show you all before I roll out of here. Okay, and this is about a whole Karen who took it upon herself, okay, because she's clearly nefarious, but she took it upon herself to go and deflate her neighbor's pool. I find it absolutely nefarious and egregious. Now, why did she do this? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You see, she did this because, in fact, she felt like hold on. Okay, that's not quite the video. That's another Karen. I'll show that one too. But she quite frankly said that she was oh so tired of their kids playing, of listening to children play. What kind of demon do you have to be to hear the sound of joyous voices of little sweet innocent children, and their voice and their laughter annoys you to the point that you go and destroy their pool that their mom built, that their mom paid her hard-earned cash for? Only a devil would do such a thing. But there's plenty of devils to go around if you ask the queen, honey. Okay, and I don't have time for any of them. Okay, this was absolutely egregious, honey. I'm glad this lady is not my neighbor, because when I tell you, it would not have turned out good for her. Okay? It definitely would not have. I'm sending this to my email. So let's go to this one first. This is a clip of another Karen who calls the police on a black man and his child, I guess because they didn't prove to her that they were worthy of being at the pool. Please pay attention.
Y'all, please watch this video with me just for a second. And if you can, stay until the end, because the most important part of this video isn't the argument between the adults. It's the little boy at the very end of this video. So if you can just stick around and watch until the end of this.
So I'm sitting out here with the pool with my children. I'm the only black man out here. So the nice white people come out here and tell me if I don't show them my ID, I have to leave. But no one else has to show their ID. So now she's going to call the police on me. And the police are going to come in front of my children. And they smiling. Look at her smiling. They're smiling. She's smiling. But our residents here. I'm telling you, I don't want to be recorded. You being recorded. I'll be here. When the police come, I'll be here. So now they're calling the police on me. Karen and her friend, she's smiling because they're going to call the police on me because I don't have an ID on me. Who takes an ID to the swimming pool? And not just that, nobody else has been asked to show their identification. All right, let's see how this works out. This is crazy. Now my children are here. This is in front of my children. Welcome to Chicago. Look at the white man, he's swimming in. The guy, does the kid over there, does he need his ID? They are calling the police on me. This is crazy. This is so crazy. Where you going, Al? What? I'm not getting my ID. I have to show them my ID to be at the pool. Hearing up, and the other lady just smiling. This is crazy.
Okay, that is crazy. These people don't have anything better to do. Now let me go to the part where the police come. This is the part where the police show up on the scene. Doing the most. Black people can't even enjoy their day out.
A white woman was fired after calling the police to arrest a black father and child swimming pool. The incident, which recently went viral, involved Leo Sullivan, a black father, and his child being asked to show identification in the pool area.
I have to leave, but no one else has to show their ID. So now she's finna call the police on me.
Police were subsequently called twice. Upon arrival, police determined that no identification was required from the individuals involved. Video footage showing the child crying out of fear that his father would be taken away sparked widespread attention. The woman was later identified as Cheryl Black, the manager of the Arden of Warrenville condominium. Although she promptly disabled her social media accounts, the condominium received numerous complaints. Facing public pressure, apartment management company issued a statement saying they had investigated the incident and decided to terminate Cheryl Black's employment. Some believe maintaining community safety is important. Others question why only the father and son were asked to prove their identities without clear evidence. What do you think? If you were the father, would you cooperate by showing your ID?
No, I wouldn't. I absolutely wouldn't, because first of all, I don't have to explain myself to anyone other than law enforcement if they're questioning me about something. That's for number one. See, it's the entitlement of these people. They think they can just come and harass you, stalk you down, and make you show them your papers. This is akin to slavery, people. I want you all to pay attention. I've been telling you for years. And slavery, during the times of slavery, when one slave would go to another plantation, perhaps to get something for their owner, they would have to take their papers because they would be stopped by the slave patrols, who are now the police, and they would have to show their papers. And this is what some of them do. Some of these Karens and Kens out here in the streets think that they have the right to police Black people. Okay, that's what they absolutely think. And now they feel even more so emboldened because of the Trump administration and the nefarious things that have continued to go on and fester. Okay, this is all so problematic. At the end of the day, this is why I said I would never live around a Karen voluntarily. That's just something I would never have a desire to do. But now let's go to this naughty neighbor who deflated a pool. After this woman spent her money, after she had the yard and everything set up so that she could actually have this pool, it was one of those inflatable pools, and just stuck a knife or something in it because she didn't like the sound of the laughter of sweet, innocent children. What kind of devil is she? Okay, I have several questions. Came out like a thief in the night, stabbed the pool, and took off running. Now, mind you, not just the fact, Don P said they hate Black joy. Yes, racist people who don't like us, they absolutely hate Black joy. They don't like for us to laugh. Where do you think the term "a barrel of laughs" came from? Back in the day, Black people were not even allowed to laugh out loud. They had to stick their heads in a barrel to laugh. Okay, I want y'all to pay attention to that. I want you all to really marinate, sit with that for just a second or two. So when you see these Karens and kids harassing good Black folk and calling the police on them simply because they're barbecuing at the park, they're bringing their children to a swimming pool, they're trying to enjoy their son or daughter's baseball or softball game. These are things that they've called the police on Black people for. But some people would have us think, if they could, that there's nothing to see here, folks. Like racism all of a sudden just disappeared. Like we're the problem, like we're the race baiters and rage baiters and all of that. Absolutely not true. Okay, absolutely not true. And she doesn't know or didn't have the wherewithal to think. It never crossed her mind that the people may have had cameras. Everybody has cameras these days. Please. Everyone has cameras these days, so that was just so stupid. But I'm glad she got caught. Okay, I'm absolutely glad she got caught. Thrilled about it. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to go to one more video and then I'm out of here. Now, this is Dixon. And Dixon wants to talk about Nolan Wells. Why does everything have to be about race? He wants to talk about that as well. Because, you know, I'm quite sure he's going to go in on the people that are saying that it's all about race. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm not going to play Dixon's video because I haven't listened to it for myself. And Dixon goes in hard in the paint on people who look like him. And I'm just curious as to whether or not he's going to call them some names or whatever. Okay, so I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to play that until I watch the video myself. I'll play it tomorrow. Okay, so with that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude the broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Hold on. I got one more thing to show y'all. Yes, I do. I have to show you all this. And you all have probably already seen it, honey, but I just saw this today. What in the world is going on here? Republican candidate for U.S. Senate and former NBA player Royce White says he's declaring for the WNBA draft as transgender and says, I'm a woman. Oh, honey, y'all, it's just too much. Okay, it's just all too much. Let's get into it. Hold on, let me read this comment. The video you showed of that woman talking about what white people hate, they hate happy. Hold on, about white hate, included happy. Right, you're talking about Barbara DeAngelis, who wrote the book about white fragility and coined that phrase in 2011. Yes, she did say that. But let's listen to this because, say what now? This man said he's going to identify as a woman so he can play the WNBA. Honey, I have absolutely heard it all.
Week I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. You know, but I'm a team first guy. You know, I'm a pass first kind of player. I do the little things. You know, I led my team in all 5 major stat categories at Iowa State University. So I do a little bit of everything. I'll do whatever the coach needs me to do. I'll do whatever the girls need me to do. I think the WNBA could come out and make a definitive statement about guys with a pair of balls playing in the women's association. But you know, hey, that'd be probably too much like right. So.
Now, is he serious or is he trolling us? Is he serious or is he, in fact, trolling us, beloveds? I have several questions. I'm hoping that it's a joke. Surely he can't be serious. He looked like he was trying not to laugh, okay? He looked like he was trying not to laugh. Okay, Reggie said, I'm done. Honey, I'm done too. Okay, the Psycho Breaker said it's a parody. I should hope so. All right, I should hope so. Especially with that last comment he said about the the basketballs, and y'all know what I'm talking about. But that was funny. Okay, that was hilarious, beloved. So with that all being said, listen. I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Okay, I will be right back at it in the morning with your morning wake-up call. So make sure you have your notifications set. Make sure you tune in. And hold on, let me see something here real quick. And so, you know, I think that in closing, we should in fact listen to the new song that Truth Brown did for former officer Rage Batum Tatum. And let me say this too. Let me correct myself. When I was talking about him and calling him Django Unchained, I actually was talking about Steven. He's Steven from Django Unchained because we all know that Jamie Foxx played a hell of a hero in that movie. That's one of my favorite movies from back in that time area. Yeah, I loved it. But at the end of the day, he's Steven from Django. Okay, please pay attention. He's Samuel L. Jackson's character. He's not Django, honey, because Django was the hero. All right. So anywho, Gino Zach said bald boy. Okay, y'all are something else. Y'all are something else. Okay. Thank you for your kind comments, beloveds. I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful, beautiful day. Each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Shut up. Shut the hell up. Please sit down. Everybody watch out. Here come Officer Race Batum. Everybody get down. I think I see the raccoon. Duck down, duck down. You that want that raccoon stuff on you. Oh, please tell me, raccoon. What the hell happened to you? Who turned you? Who got in your ear? You used to talk one way, now you singing for the other side. You the raccoon of the century. Nothing good about your own, never from use on your mask. You said she deserved that. I'm done, been done with the whole Betamax. Everybody watch out. Here come Officer Race Batum. Everybody get down. I think I see a raccoon. Duck down, duck down. You don't want that raccoon stuff on you. Oh, please tell me, raccoon. What the hell happened to you? Shut up. Shut up. Oh, shut the hell up. Please sit down. What the hell happened to you?
Right. So with that all being said, good night, everybody, and I will see you all in the morning. Peace.